All right. Okay, let's get started. Shout out to the people over at Wisdom tuning in live, taking the time out of your what is now morning to listen to me break down the latest hip hop and pop tracks. And we're going to be getting into a lot of little Uzi Vert, of course, and then we're going to transition into a lot of other music that just came out. And we're going to be touching a lot of different genres, so definitely stay tuned for that. And as always, if you're not able to catch the entire stream, make sure to follow my podcast or whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, and just type in Analytic Dreams and it should pop up. But for the most part, we're going to get into The Weeknd. We're going to get into Little Uzi, of course. We're going to get into a lot of other tracks that came out at midnight. And let me see. And in general, definitely tell me which one was your favorite, and which artist you would like me to cover more of. Okay, for the people in the wisdom chat right now, can y'all hear me? That's basically my question. I wonder if I can I'm trying to see the levels aren't popping up, but I see people are joining. So I'm trying to make sure people can hear me, because if not, then let me see. Okay. Dealing with a little technical difficulty right now, because in general, I don't see the levels going up, so I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I think I'm back. All right. Yeah, okay, now I see the levels. I don't know what was happening. I think my app was glitching out, and if it happens again, I may just have to record and then put it up after the fact. But if my levels are popping up right now, that means that the volume's good. Y'all can hear me. At first, it wasn't popping up at all. I thought it was my phone. I reconnected it 3 to 4 times, but I'm glad I got it fixed. So you gotta love technical difficulties, right? Because in general, I definitely enjoy live streaming, but I say all the time, I'm a podcaster who live streams. There's definitely a difference from just a straight live streamer in general. So yeah, so thank you for taking the time out of your morning to tune in to the latest hip-hop reviews. I'm just gonna go over my intro again, because I'm pretty sure y'all wasn't able to catch what I was saying. So we're going to be getting into, of course, if you see in the title, Little Uzi Vert's Pink Tape. Then we're going to be getting into The Weeknd. Then we're going to get into Rylo Rodriguez's new album, and a lot more for their new releases, as we're going to be getting into a lot of different genres. So make sure to click my Linktree in my description box, or if you're listening to this after the fact, make sure to type in Analytic Dreams on my TikTok or my Twitter and DM me. Let me know, what do you think is your favorite track that just came out, and which artist would you like me to cover more in detail? So with that out the way, I'm glad that the levels are back up on Wisdom. For people on other platforms, YouTube and Kick, make sure to download the Wisdom app, as that's the app I go live on whenever I'm just doing strictly audio. Of course, I do other formats, as I'm currently live streaming on Kick and YouTube as well, but for the main platform, definitely download the Wisdom app so you can stay up to date when I go live, and you can catch me live as I cover it, because it gives you a very easy and accessible way to join in as a guest, give you 2 cents, and who knows, you may end up on a podcast. Definitely no guarantees, but we've had a plethora of people come through in the past, give their perspective. One person had a lot to say about I think it was the Grammy Award show, and the whole Sam Smith like devil worshiping performance that was just atrocious. Like I don't even know why he thought that was a good idea, but had a lot of good insight on that. And then we had a lot of other people come in, give their perspective. So I love different perspectives on wisdom, and it makes it super easy to join in as a guest and give that perspective. So this is a safe space, you know, an open dialogue. So if you definitely want to join, feel free to. But if not, then we're gonna get into the first topic, which I'm gonna pull up right now. So, and the beat went off in the perfect time. So yeah, there we go. All right, let me see. I should have put this behind my laptop. If y'all don't know, because y'all definitely can't see the setup, but I basically have like, I mean, I always have two monitors, but this monitor is kind of off to the side. So if I'm looking at it, I think y'all should still, let me see. Yeah, y'all can still hear me, but all right, let's see. As always, if you're new, I cover the artists and the title last because, you know, got to save the best for last, but we're definitely going to get into just a plethora of artists and new music releases. So definitely stay tuned for that. And let me see, I was trying to look at that. And definitely make sure to let me know which artist or just which track is your favorite. So with that out the way, let's start with um all right, so we have Lil Uzi, we have The Weeknd. Let's just start at the top and go down, because I have a whole list for those of y'all wondering. It's not just some random list I'm pulling up. I have a specific artists and tracks I want to get into. Okay, yeah. Let's do 42 Doug, and then let's do Peso Pluma. I think that's his name. And then let's transition. Like I said, we're getting into all the new releases, so you're definitely going to be informed with this segment. So you're going to be learning a lot. So hopefully you enjoy it, because different genres are just for different people. You know, not everybody enjoys every genre, but there's definitely something for you in each and every one of these segments. All right, cool. I think I have it down. All right, so we're gonna get into, make sure pull this up right quick. But yeah, shout out to the people over at Wisdom coming in. I definitely appreciate y'all, because, you know, it's definitely early in the morning. So I definitely appreciate y'all taking the time out of your morning to listen to, you know, me break down the latest hip hop and music releases. I think we're gonna start with 42 Doug. I think that's perfect. Yeah, let's start with 42 Doug, because I don't know what it is about 42 Doug, but everybody loves just the gangster appeal and just the way that he always comes on the scene as a very genuine gangster. And I say that in the most non-law abiding way possible. So we're gonna start with him, and we're gonna get into everything that everything that he has to offer. So let me see, make sure write this down right quick. All right. If you don't know how this works, I'll break this down into segments. I cover different tracks, and at the end of the live stream, I edit and splice it up and put it on my podcast. So if you're not following my podcast, if you're new to the stream, first off, thank you for taking out the time in your morning to listen to me break down the latest hip hop tracks. And you can find me on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. I would probably turn you towards the Spotify platforms, as I do video and audio content. I have Analytic Dreams, Notorious Mass Effect, which is my overall podcast platform. And then I have video content exclusively on my Analytic Dreams video, which is also on Spotify. But if you don't use Spotify, of course, it's available on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. But just type in Analytic Dreams, Notorious Mass Effect, and it will definitely pop up. Okay. All right. Let's look at this right here. How does this look? I think that looks good. Okay. Try to make sure for the people over at kicking YouTube, so when I transition, it doesn't look crazy. So let's transition. Yeah, let's transition right now. Let's try to pause this video. Pause that ad, even though it's probably gonna pop back up. But yeah, let's get into 42 Doug. Let me see. The song was released. Young Boys. I don't think that's it. I think this 42 Doug song just came out, and the information I have on it is very sparse. One time single. Yeah, not too many people know about this. That's crazy. Let's see what's at the bottom. Okay, cool. Produced by, who's this produced by? All right, give me 1 second. Okay. All right, great. All right, we're just gonna get into. All right, cool. All right, so if you're just tuning in, which I do see some people over there tuning in on Wisdom, we're about to get into 42 Doug. I'm gonna get into some of his like success as an artist, and then also his current single, One Time. So let's get into that right now. So 42 Doug is back again with his new single titled One Time. And if there's anything you know about the whole gangster appeal and the AKA mantra or the, all right, let me see. So one thing about listening to this live is you hear all the mess ups, you hear everything in general. So anyways, we're gonna start back over because that was not it. All right. Anyways, let's get back into it right now. So 42 Doug is back again with the famous gangster mantra, aka One Time. Now, if you don't know what One Time is, let me tell you, it's a lot that goes into it because let's just say if we was to ask Gunna Wanna from YSL, he would have preferred to tell you that it's just one of the most therapeutic sessions that he was ever in because he just let go of all his demons and information that may or may not have resulted in Young Thug being locked up for an indefinite period of time. Now, if you're confused, then that's perfect because you might be a law abiding citizen. But if you're not, or if you just want to be more informed on the term One Time, it's basically used to describe the police, as police officers for some reason have a plethora of nicknames that the police that the gangsters in their whole society has given them. And if he was to go through the nicknames that all the all right, let me see, gangster names to police. All right, I didn't know I wanted to go in that direction. That's one thing about freestyling. It's just really what about for the people just joining in, just know I'm just starting. We're getting into 42 Doug and his new single called One Time. Hopefully you enjoy all these mess ups, you know, definitely showcasing the professionalism. No, I'm just playing. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, let's get back into it. 42 Doug is back again with his latest single titled One Time. Now, for all of my gangsters out there, there's a specific way that we can attack this because, of course, the biggest gangster in hip hop currently, aka Gunna Wanna, uses the term one time to let the opposition know that they have one time to set it straight what he's telling on everybody. Because there's an indefinite hold on Young Thug's freedom that may or may not be because of Gunna being very open and forward with the police, aka one time. Now, if you need more clarification on the plethora of nicknames that gangsters have given police from the beginning of time, we have 5-0, which originated in the early 1900s, of course. Then we have the infamous Popo, which is shortened for police, just in case you didn't know. Like, I didn't know if you was using context clues or not, but there you go. The whole Popo is a whole version, shortened version of police. Why do you need to know that information? Then if you're not a law-abiding citizen, then I would probably advise you to use that in your activities that may or may not be a law-abiding, you know what I mean? But anyways, and then we have, of course, the worldwide known term feds, which is the FBI or the DEA, which, you know, gangsters give police nicknames all the time. And it's just a way to, let's just say, dehumanize and make them seem, quote unquote, less threatening, because not all the gangsters in the world use nickname for police, because how would I know as a law-abiding citizen, right? but for most importantly, pigs or cops is usually what you hear as far as when nicknames are given from the gangster society to the police society. Now, with all that gangster and non-law-abiding lingo out of the way, let's get into how 42 Doug, with the help of production from A1 Rocky and Vino Builder, has came with a new single called One Time. And just given 42 Doug's success in the past with, of course, We Paid featuring Lil Baby, I think everybody in the world has heard that song at this point, as it peaked number 10 on the Billboard Top 100. And then he even had a song that peaked number 12 on the Billboard Top 100 that was released way back in February. And I just think when we're getting into 42 Doug and we're just getting into his lyrics, you can tell that he's really trying to get that gangster appeal to shine throughout his music. Because if there's one thing about fans believing that you're actually a gangster, is that your lyrics hit 10 times harder. Just ask TK, who is currently locked up for a crime he may or may not have committed. So anyways, 42 Doug goes on to say in his track One Time, still holding for the Hawks, I'm in my bag now. Them poles used to kill sixes, they killing fives now. Quit telling expletives I've been tripping. I'm on my P's and Q's. Shout out to Lil Uzi. Drake keep falling asleep on me. I think he needs some juice. Say I don't need no auto-tune. Just bring me all the blues. Young and turned the label. Expletive, that's coming home soon. Now, I don't know if that's poetic justice like Kendrick and Drake put it, but that's something. Because at the end of the day, the people in the quote unquote streets, the mud, I don't know, maybe they can appreciate these lyrics on a different level than I can personally. But 42 Doug has had immense success on the Billboard charts. So with him putting out another gangster centric type of vibe single, I think it would definitely translate well to his core fan base. So click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about 42 Doug coming back with a new single titled One Time? And if you've given it a listen, do you think it's fire or trash? All right, cool. All right, shout out to the people coming in over at Wisdom. I definitely appreciate y'all. Just know that was the first topic, so we definitely have more to get into. I think honestly, I like starting with the hip hop artist because what we're about to get into now may be a little different if you just only listen to hip hop. As we're getting into Olivia Rodrigo and her latest single, and then and then we're gonna get into what they calling a therapeutic single. What does that mean? I have no idea what that means, honestly. But we gonna get into that. So let me pull this up right quick. I wonder if we have any Olivia Rodrigo fans in the session right now, because that would be interesting to know. Because I think that most hip hop people may not know who this person is, and if they listened to her or didn't know they was listening to her, they would have thought that she was like the I don't know. Hey, let's just say we have a lot of serial killers in society, and as far as music to be listening to while you're doing that, Olivia Rodrigo is on the top of that list because she puts out some very emotional music. But let's just leave it at that. Okay. So, anyways, let me pull this up. Ah, here we go. All right, cool. I feel like she's one of those artists I should bring up lyrics for. Yeah, let me bring up lyrics for her because I know she's. I'm not saying she's like the second coming of Kendrick, but I think we definitely have to pull this up. See if I can find this on Genius. I love how Genius have all the lyrics. Like, if there's one site you want to go to for lyrics, it's definitely Genius, as they know what they're doing. But anyways, all right, let's get into Olivia Rodrigo. Right. Wait, hold up. First, I want to pull up her stats because I think a lot of people don't know who this person is. And if you're new to the live stream, just know after the fact, I do cut this up and put it on my different podcast platforms. And just type in Analytic Dreams and it should pop up. And I also have exclusive to Spotify a video portion where it's a Analytic Dreams video. So there's Analytic Dreams and then there's Analytic Dreams video. Hopefully it's not confusing. If it is, just click my Linktree in my bio where it's all laid out and gives you direct access, well, easy access to whatever platform you're trying to get to. All right, let's get into Olivia Rodrigo right now. And we're back again with the one, the only Olivia Rodrigo, as this is her comeback single since releasing her debut album titled Sour way back in May 2021. Now, of course, this was teased through her website, which, if you didn't know, Billboard put out a whole new rule where direct to consumer downloads will not count to the Billboard Top 100. And I don't know if that will affect Olivia Rodrigo compared to a lot of other up and coming artists, but I don't think it will affect her as much because she definitely kills on the Billboard charts, even with all these different stipulations that Billboard has. I mean, she has her most popular track, which was Driver's License, which was #1 on Billboard Top 100 for 8 weeks straight. And then we had Good For You, that was #1 for 1 week. We had Deja Vu. I think if you type in Olivia Rodrigo Good For You, you will probably get a sense of the type of music she makes, as a lot of people don't really understand her impact on like a social or just a pop type of aspect if you're in the hip hop industry. But Olivia Rodrigo definitely is one of those where if she drops, you definitely need to pay attention, as she's gonna create heavy I can't even say it, implications on the charts. Just as I forget, was it no, it wasn't Mason, I forget his name, the country artist that's currently running the charts right now for like 15 weeks straight. She's one of those type of artists where if she drops, she's probably going to take up some real estate space on the Billboard charts. So anyways, she put out a new single titled Vampire, and this song is from her upcoming second studio album titled Guts, which is set to be released September 8th, 2023. And of course, it's written by Olivia, performed by Olivia, produced by Daniel. I don't even want to say that, but and he also produced Rodrigo's debut album, Sour. And of course, what is an Olivia Rodrigo song without having some toxicity involved with a dark, moody sound to exemplify the type of mood that she's going for? Of course, she has catchy melodies. Olivia Rodrigo is, of course, a pop artist, so she definitely has the patented formula for a pop song, which is, you know, a very slow start, which gets into a faster into the chorus, and then you have a verse two, another chorus, and then you're out. Like, it's probably not going to be too long. And that formula in the past, like I just read off her past Billboard hits, has been a commercial success for her, as she's reached number one on Billboard charts multiple times. And so I believe that with her teasing this song, with it now being available on all major streaming platforms, with her also performing the song live for the first time on at the MTV Music Awards, and then with heavy promotion from social media outlets as far as myself and also other streaming platforms popping up right in front of your face as soon as you open Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, I think that this track definitely has the potential to take over the number one spot on the Billboard Top 100, but we'll just have to wait and see. So click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Olivia Rodrigo making a comeback and putting out a single for her upcoming second studio album, Guts, that should be releasing September 8th, 2023? And if you've listened to the track, do you think it's fire or trash? And also, are you excited for her upcoming second studio album? All right, cool. Now let's get into peso. I feel like sometimes I look up too much and I end up using like all of it. So I don't know. I'm trying to get to that nice dynamic where I don't look up too much, but look up just enough, like information as far as articles and stuff. Because, you know, we don't do fake news around here, and I try to keep my like audience informed. Which, if you don't know, for the people who just tune in or is new to the platform or just the podcast platform in general, I'm a podcaster who streams. So on my main platform, which is whatever platform you listen to Analytic Dreams Notorious Mass Effect on, we're currently at 79,000 weekly downloads, and in just 6 months of being under Red Circle, we've surpassed 830,000 total downloads. So safe to say that we're affecting the masses, which is, you know, a play off of my name. And I really enjoy and like putting out content like this, because when people support, it just gives you a whole different motivational aspect to it, because it would be different if it was just like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 people listening. Like, I would still do it, but I don't know, I think people are lying when they say I would do it as much, you know. Like, I enjoy doing this for nothing, but now that there's like incentive to do it, it's just a whole different motivation. And I think if I don't know. I think other people would be lying to tell you that's not, if they say they only do it for the love of it. Because I definitely do it for the love of it, but at this point, it's like a full time profession. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I was just rambling. Anyways, let's get into Taney, and we're basically getting into Taney because we got to get into Bad Bunny, as this man is just attached his name to this track, so we definitely got to talk about it. Let's see if we can pull this up without all that stuff on there. All right. Yeah, we not using that. Okay, let me pull this. Let me see how that looks. Okay, we're gonna take this and then let me see if I can find this right quick. All right, cool. Let's get into Taney and Bad Bunny right now. Just know that pronunciations will not be at its finest throughout this entire segment, as a lot of these names, actually, one name in particular, which is the first name off of this track, I have no idea how to pronounce. So I'm just gonna say Mojabi Ghost. All right. If it's not if that's not correct, then don't come after me. Just know I'm trying my best. As this is a new single from Taney, and it features the one and only, the worldwide superstar at this point, selling out stadiums. Yeah, you heard me right. Not arenas, stadiums. If you want to know the difference, look up the capacity of a stadium and the capacity of a arena. So with that out the way, Bad Bunny is also on this track, and it's the fifth track on Taney's debut album, Data. And it was released today, of course, and it features vocals from the one and only Bad Bunny, and it's more of a reggaeton type of beat. And I think a lot of people appreciate it. Of course, attaching Bad Bunny's name can help sell anything. It's kind of like the Drake effect at this point, I can confidently say, with Bad Bunny, because the numbers that he does, attaching his name to anything would definitely bring more exposure. And I mean, even personally to me, I don't know if I would be even covering this track if Bad Bunny wasn't on it, which, may be disappointing for Taney fans out there, but I don't know too much about Taney. I do know that this character it may or may not be from anime. I'm not like the biggest anime fan, but I do know that a lot of people are saying it's attracted to violence and death, which sounds like a lot, but hey, I'm just reading off what they told me. And then also they said the song is about a toxic relationship, and it's the music video is directed by Steels and features Bad Bunny and Taney, of course, in a dark, moody setting, and it was performed on several occasions by Bad Bunny at his 2023 World's Hottest Tour, which, if you think about it, the numbers that Bad Bunny does is an understatement. That's it to say that he has the world's hottest tour. I mean, even Beyonce is not selling as much as Bad Bunny, and all my Beyonce fans out there is probably devastated to hear that ultimate reality. But it will come a day where sometimes the up and coming artist may sell more than your favorite artist, and that's just what Bad Bunny is currently doing. As my personal favorite artist is Drake, and I can fully admit that this man is doing way more numbers when it comes to touring and when it comes to just putting out albums and in general, because of course Drake hasn't went on tour in a while, but seeing the numbers that Bad Bunny does music wise compared to Drake in the past year or two, and comparing them to what he's doing currently doing on tour, breaking the record for the most money made by a single artist in a month on tour. It's just insane the amount of milestones that Bad Bunny is setting. So for him to attach himself to this track called Mojabi Ghost, probably mispronouncing that, but hey, I try my best. It definitely is showcasing that his star power could be anywhere and he will still shine, as Taney is also one of those type of producers that also puts himself as an artist. So it's artist and is also a producer. So of course this track was produced by Taney, has Bad Bunny to accompany it, which should definitely help on the Billboard charts, and we'll have to see how much it helps as we follow this track in the future. So click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Bad Bunny attaching himself to this track called Mojabi Ghost by Taney? And what do you think of the production from Taney? And in general, do you think this track is fire or trash? All right, shout out to the people over at Wisdom coming in and tuning in. I appreciate y'all taking the time out of your morning to listen to me break down the latest hip hop and gaming. Hopefully, let me see if I can find this. Hopefully, y'all can hear me clearly. I think y'all can. I still see the levels, but definitely comment if y'all can't, because that defeats the whole purpose if y'all can't hear me. But Yeah. Anyways, a little Uzi tidbit before we get into the next topic. I saw that a lot of people was disappointed that Playboy Cardi wasn't on the album, but let me just tell y'all, I'm disappointed that Drake's not on the album. Like they literally have a song that's already quantified, just certified a hit from fans that's just unreleased, and they don't want to put it on anything. Like I don't know if it's because of the streams are gonna go down because people already heard it, but like that's already a quality track that they just refuse to put out. Both of them refuse to put out this track, and I just don't understand why. I'm like, are they beefing? I don't know. So anyways, y'all can hear that when I just covered Drake's unreleased tracks off of For All the Dogs. So you can definitely go to my podcast and listen to that now. Analytic Dreams, Notorious, Mass Effect on whatever platform, or you can just click my link tree in my bio. It gives you easy access to it. But I covered those tracks in the leaked tracks, and I kind of got into why. I also covered a Drake and Uzi AI track, and I kind of got into like why the two haven't collaborated. And I don't know, I think it was an interesting discussion because not a lot of people even bring it up. I mean, you would think it'd be the most obvious thing ever, but I guess not because they haven't done it yet. So anyways, all right, let's get into, they said, and they even said that Uzi accidentally released a song with Playboy Cardi, but then ended up taking it down. I'm like, bro, at that point you just don't care about your fans. You know what they wanted and you still didn't give it to them. And it doesn't even seem like they're beefing. But anyways, I'm gonna get into that when obviously I'm gonna get into that when we talk about them. But now we're about to get into these two artists, Peso and Grupo. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. Pronunciation's about to be completely butchered. Make sure this is the right one. Let me see. It doesn't look like it's the right one. Whenever I cover artists, I don't really follow too intently. I don't want to just say like just random stuff. So we're gonna make sure that this is right. Can I translate this to English? I can. Perfect. Cool. Release a song was accompanied by each. All right. All right, cool. Let's get into it right now. Hold up. Actually. Let me see. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's get into that right now. Once again, pronunciations are definitely going to be messed up, but just know as a podcaster, I'm trying my best to deliver on a level that's quality and also expanding out of my comfort zone, which is definitely this type of music where I don't understand any of the lyrics, but I do recognize that these two artists are bigger than life currently in their respective genres. As these two um, artists have several hits on the Billboard Top 100, as the artist I'm talking about is Peso Pluma and Grupo Frontera. I think that's how you say their names. And La Bebe, I think that's how you say it. I kid you not. That's how it's like LA and BEBE. Like I'm not trying to be funny. So is it La BB? I don't know, man. Anyways, y'all get what I'm saying. It reached number 3 on the top Billboard 100 and top 10 on the Billboard 100. And in general, Un times 102 reached number 1 on the Billboard Global charts and number 5 on the Billboard Top 100. So of course, these two respective artists definitely has some type of Mexican appeal as far as like what they I forget the word. Oh yeah, what they represent. That's what I'm looking for. What they represent and the culture they put that into their music. As Peso Pluma is more of a Mexican indie type of pop band, and they're known for like catchy melodies, of course. And Grupo Frontera is a Mexican regional band from Rio Grande Valley. I think that's how you say it. And they're known best for their traditional cumbia sound. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but hey, once again, try my best. And then the two groups met up in 2022 and quickly started collaborating as they recognized that, you know, what they say, divide and conquer. They definitely got together, and they knew that they were stronger than ever because all of those hits that I just named off previously on the Billboard Top 100, they've released several songs together that just continue to be popular in Mexican and Latin America as they put out promising new tracks as far as in their specific genre, and it just rises on the charts, and it meets or is met with critical and commercial success. So when you really get into this new single that they have titled Tulum, I think that this has a possibility to reach number one, but I guess we'll never know currently as it just came out. But obviously, Plumo and Grupo is one of those type of artists that, in their respective genre, they're definitely the big dogs, and everybody can't wait for them to put out more music. And they definitely gave a statement, and um, by adding these three additional tracks from his album Genesis, released on June 22nd. And they gave a quote saying, quote, as leaders of the Mexican music movement, Peso Pluma and Grupo Frontera have teamed up to collaborate on this catchy summer anthem that premieres today along with the official music video. And that's what the agency reported. And Tulum, which is the latest single they attached to the album, said it was written by Latin Grammy winner Edgar Barrera. I think that's how you say it. And Peso Pluma, of course, and produced by Barrera. And this video, the music video, also features the two respective groups. And what else? There's also additional bonus tracks from the album Genesis, including singles like PRC and Las Moras. I think that's how you say it, Las Moras. I don't know. I don't. Like I said, trying my best. But in addition, Grupo Frontera said that um, they broke the first day broadcast record to become the biggest Mexican music single in Apple Music history with Un times 102, which I kind of referred to back in the original. I referred to earlier in the segment, and that track was attached with Bad Bunny, so he was a feature on that track. So they was just kind of just highlighting the achievements that they've had over time, and with this collaboration, they just really received so much commercial success with Peso Pluma and Grupo Frontera coming together, and I think that these people have managed to come together and kind of bring Latin music to the forefront, as they just started a whole new record label titled Dope Double P Records just over a month ago. So they're definitely changing the game and trying to start a whole new movement for Latin music. And I think that this is the type of worldwide appeal that is starting to become more and more accessible because of the evolution of technology, to the point where these two respective artists can run the charts for who knows how long. So click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Peso Pluma and Grupo Frontera coming together for the latest single titled Tulum, for the addition to the Genesis track album? And if you've listened to the album Genesis, what is your favorite track? And also, make sure to click my link tree in my bio and DM me on whatever platform you choose to do so. What is your favorite track off of the Genesis album? All right, let me see. Shout out to the 13 people we have right now. Just know, um, if you're not able to catch the entire live stream, I definitely will cut this up and put it out on my podcast after the fact. Just follow my podcast, and the link tree in my bio gives you easy access to whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. So if you're not able to catch the entire live stream, but if so, we're gonna keep chugging along. And by chugging, I mean I'm gonna find the next track I want to get into. Let me see if I can find this right quick. Okay. Way too done. Let me see. Are we already on the names? It really wasn't a lot that dropped, which is that makes sense because I mean when Uzi drops with the pink tape, I mean who really wants to try to compete with that? Even Drake was talking like, I mean not him himself, but the fan base and just Reddit people and insiders, quote unquote, was saying like, oh, he's gonna drop it tonight. Like, no, he's not. Like he does not want to come number two to Uzi. Like he already saw what type of slander the Weeknd received when Gunna put out DS Forever and outsold him with After Hours first week. Everybody was like, can't believe Gunna outsold the Weeknd. Drake does not want to be part two of that with Uzi. So, anyways, let's get a Spinel. I don't even know who that is. We want to get to that. And then I think that's it. Let's see, that can't be Uzi Weeknd. It wasn't a lot I was gonna get into because I really want to focus on Uzi. Like, I guess it's been so long since Uzi put out music, so everybody's just clamoring for this album. Even some of his biggest fans are like, bro, I don't know if this is it. So he may have fell off. Not gonna lie to you, but it's an hour and 30. So I'm like, bro, there's no way you listen to the entire track. So we're gonna see. All right. Yeah, that honestly may be it, and then we may get into the actual artist and the title. Because if you don't know, if this is your first time, I get into the artist and the title last, because you know I gotta save the best for last. You know how they go. Let's see, Peso, Tini, Rylo. Yeah, we gotta get to Rylo. Wow, they may actually, yeah, we may be running through this. Okay. I mean, it wasn't really too much to cover outside of Uzi. Oh, and the Weeknd, of course. So yeah, we're just gonna pull those two up. Those are a bunch of segments in itself. And by segment, I mean like I cover specific tracks and then I get to the overall album. Yeah, y'all probably get it. If you're new, you'll probably catch on pretty quickly. Um, Pull this up right here. Rylo, The Weeknd. Okay, we're about to get into Wizkid. I don't know why, but I really enjoy Wizkid's music. And I think Afrobeats in general, it's just, I don't think it's underrated because I think it's overtaking. I mean, literally, the summer anthem for last year was the Wait For You track with Future and Drake. But I think the reason it blew up was because it had the Tim's sample from a song that was already popular in that same year. And I don't know, I feel like Afrobeats is really making a making an appearance on the scene as far as like popular music. I think in general, people just looked at it as like something that was just like off to the side. But now it's taking more up. It's taking up more spotlight as far as the Billboard charts are concerned. So, anyways, well, here are these. Let me see. I think this is it. All right, I think this is. I'm trying to find. Always hard to find like up to date stuff on this. All right. All right, I think this is correct. Let me see. When was this actually released? Okay, nobody knows. That's great. That's fantastic. I wonder if anybody cares that this track is out because it seems like nobody does. All right. I don't know. I like Wizkid as an artist. I always play his music, so I'm definitely gonna cover this. Let me bring this over here. All right, cool. All right, that works. All right, let's get into Wizkid. All right. Okay, let's get into Wizkid right now. For those who don't know who Wizkid is, just know that it's an understatement to say that he is considered one of the most successful Afrobeat artists of all time. When it comes to Wizkid, he's definitely a veteran in this music industry. So that's why when it comes to talking about Wizkid and the quality of music that he puts out, I cannot highlight, exaggerate, or overstate the amount of quality music that this man has given us over time. I mean, way back since 2016, this man has been giving us straight classics on the Billboard Top 100. Now, of course, I may be a little biased because if y'all don't know, my favorite artist of all time is Aubrey Graham, aka Drake. And he helped this man get #1 on the Billboard Top 100 for 10 weeks in a row with the track One Dance. A lot of people don't even know that. A lot of people just see Wizkid and they just think it's Drake's track. Like, Wizkid was an essential part of that track One Dance, and also he had another track with Drake that reached #2 on the Billboard Top 100, and it was the second song by a solo African artist to reach the top 2 on the charts. And guess who was the first? Wizkid, as well, as it was the first song by a solo African artist to reach #1 when he collaborated with Drake on One Dance. So if Drake and Wizkid came out with the entire album, I would be all here for it because I just think it's turning or just transitioning into Afrobeats taking over popular music, as we had Tim's, we have Wizkid, we have Burna Boy, which I think he makes Afrobeat music if I'm not mistaken. I know there's different genres inside the genre, just kind of like with hip hop, you have your mumble rap, you have your conscious rap. You know, it's just a lot of different subgenres in the actual overall genre. But when you look at the Afrobeat genre specifically, they're running up the charts in ways that I can never imagine, as Essence, one of the tracks that a lot of people know with Wizkid and Tim's. It reached #9 on the Billboard Top 100. It was the first song by a Nigerian artist to reach the top 10 on the chart. So Wizkid is just breaking all type of records every single time he drops a track. And even speaking on Tim's, she literally was on the Song of the Summer last year when Future and Drake had the track Wait For You. And I think the only reason that was so high and well received by critics is because of because of the Tim's sample from her track that was released in the same exact year, titled, I think it was Higher. But the reason we even talking about Wizkid in the first place is because he has a new single out now titled Loju. It's like Loju. So hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that, but it's produced by Blase Beats, and just know this track is straight fire. That's all you need to know. It's out on all DSPs, and now I've given you the background knowledge to know that Wizkid is essentially one of the most decorated and influential African artist of his generation. So click my link, share my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. Have you listened to the latest track by Weeknd titled Loju? And if not, when are you going to listen to it? Because you definitely have to. And when you listen to it, is it fire or even more fire? All right. Let's see. I think in general, I could probably change this. Let me see if I can change this right quick. Side note, me and my dad was watching the Django. Not gonna lie, Samuel L. Jackson. If he didn't get an Oscar for that character he played in that movie, then that was a wasted slot, man. Because that man really went crazy, literally. Like I don't know the amount of man. I can't even say the word I want to, but the way that Samuel L. Jackson was acting in that movie, it was different, man. It was one of those type of. Let's just say he was just one of those. Let's just leave it at that. He was definitely performing as one of those. So, anyways, let me pull this right here. Okay, let's get into Rylo right now. Actually, I don't think I have it pulled up. I'm trying to get into his other stuff. Trying to get into the track with Lil Baby because we're gonna talk about the album, then we're gonna talk about the track with Lil Baby because I don't know. That's all I care about. So, I think the thing about being because Rylo's not like I don't know. He's a new word artist, but having Baby on your album, like everybody's gonna go to that track. Like it's just I don't know, man. I think it's obvious to know he's like everybody's just gonna go to that. So I don't know. All right. Let me see. Okay, let's get to Rylo Rodriguez. So Rylo is back again. I had to look up how long this man has been in the game because I'm not gonna say he's a veteran, but it seems like I've heard his name more in the past 2 years than I've ever heard his name. But this is his first project of 2023, and I've heard his name a plethora of times other than this album. And it kind of makes sense as he signed to Little Baby's Glass Window Entertainment record label. So as a result, he has some of the biggest artists in the industry on his album. Now, how will that work for his first week sales? I have no idea because I kind of feel like they just left him out to dry because I don't know if anybody mentioned to him that another artist that's pretty prominent in the hip hop industry just dropped an album on the same day and been leading up for weeks, months, even years. And he decides to drop his album, being a new artist, going up against Little Uzi versus Pink Tape. I don't know how it's gonna work out for him, but let's just say he has everybody in the industry on this album. So we're gonna see how it works out for him. As this man Rylo on his first project in 2023, having Little Baby, Little Durk, ESTG, Little Yachty, and more, is apparent that he is an industry favorite. As this is his first project in a very long time. His last project was in 2020, and at the time, he put out 17 tracks, I believe. Let me see. First at the time, yeah, he put out 17 tracks, and it was with. Oh no, he's talking about his upcoming album, but his first project before this one was in 2020. So now that he's back with the 17 track album with 2 additional tracks, which I don't know if that makes sense. He has 19 in total. He has No Cap on it, Little Papa, if y'all know who that is. No disrespect, I just don't know who that is. Little Durk and Friday, Little Yachty. With all due respect, Lil Yachty is probably the worst person to ever put on your album. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I think Lil Yachty may go down in history as having like just the worst artistry when it comes to music. But anyways, that's besides the point. ESTG he has on the album. He has Little Baby on the album, which just went ballistic on the new Weeknd single for Idol episode 5. That track titled False Idols. I don't know what it is. We're gonna get into it in a second. But Little Weeknd, The Weeknd and Little Baby is probably one of the greatest duos I've heard in a long time when it comes to music. I don't know why they play off each other so well, but it's just a match made in heaven. But anyways, getting back to Rylo. So Rylo has a lot of industry favorites or just industry monsters on this album. So we're gonna see how it works out for his first week sales. I mean, going up against Lil Uzi Vert's Pink Tape is definitely gonna hurt a lot. So I don't know why nobody on his label told him that, or maybe they just didn't care. Maybe they were just like, hey, go out there, swim with the sharks, and if you get eaten, oh well. So click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Rylo dropping his album titled Ben One? And out of all his collabs that he has on the album, which one are you most excited to hear? All right, and then let's get into specifically the Lil Baby feature. Let me see. Okay, cool. I think I had to update that. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can pull this up some more. Cool. Now, you know, I had to go directly to the track featuring Little Baby, because not only is Little Baby putting out straight classic verses whenever he's paired with The Weeknd, but he's also helping out up and coming artists, as Rylo Rodriguez is currently signed to Lil Baby. If you didn't even know that tidbit, I had no idea that Rylo was signed to Lil Baby. But hey, at this point, hey, the more you know. But in general, with this album, it's track number 4 that Little Baby's on, and it's produced by Algino, Marco Lenz, and KD Pro. Now, with this verse, I believe that it has to be the most streamed track on this album, because there's a specific thing that happens when you're an up and coming artist and put another artist on your album who's 10 times bigger than you, just exponentially bigger than you, way more streams, way more awards, just overall bigger than life when it comes to your awards or just your achievements in the same field. Everybody who's an outsider is going to look at your album and go directly to what they're used to, which is Little Baby, which could or could not be a bad thing. Like, there's pros and cons to both of those. Obviously, the Lil Baby verse is going to be the standout on this album, as that will add the most replay value, I would guess, because of the recognition of Lil Baby's name. But because of Rylo being signed to Lil Baby, I think that's exactly what he wants, as I think Lil Baby just stopped giving out features to whoever could afford it and started to focus more on the quality of his verses. So I'm very interested to see how this reception is of his verse, because I already listened to the track, because of course I had to go straight to it, as I said in the beginning of the segment. And I can already tell you, the track or the verse that he gave to The Weeknd for False Idols blows this one way out of the water. I know it's a different type of feel. It's like a soundtrack type of vibe, but I'm not gonna lie to you. The way that Little Baby was rapping on that track versus this one, I don't know if he gave as much attention to the quality of this verse. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I will say the False Idols verse from Lil Baby is way better. But obviously, just name recognition alone, this is definitely going to be the standout. As far as streams, I would go on to bet money that this is going to be the most streamed track off of this album. But I guess we have to wait and see, as a lot of people in the comment section was kind of like, oh, can't wait for that Rylo. We're going straight to Rylo rather than Uzi, which I don't believe y'all in the slightest. We're going to see when the first week sales come out, because of course I don't have no horse in the race, but I just find it hard to believe that Rylo is even going to compete even a little bit with Little Uzi Vert's Pink Tape. So anyways, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Rylo putting out his new album? And what do you think of Little Baby being on this album as a feature? Do you think it overshadows the entire project, or do you think it's time for a Little Baby feature, seeing that Rylo is signed to Lil Baby's label? All right. Let's get into The Weeknd. Let's do The Weeknd first, because that's only 2 songs I have to cover, and then we can get into Little Uzi Vert. Weeknd, The Idol. Shout out to the people still rocking with me over at Wisdom. I definitely appreciate y'all taking the time out of your morning to listen to me cover the latest tracks. Hopefully, you was able to pull something out of this. That's usually the biggest thing I try to focus on, is if you listen to me, you know, I'd rather you pull some, you know, I always feel like you're entertained, but also like you're pulling something out of it. Like it's not just a wasted listen. So hopefully you're enjoying it. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do that one. We're gonna do this one. I think we may just do 3. Let's just do that. Let's see. Okay. That's not it. Put this over here. And then okay, I'm currently pulling up the articles, so give me 1 second. And then let's pull up this one. All right, cool. Uh, all right. Let's get into The Weeknd's latest offerings right now. Actually, um, let's look at the show stats, because I talked about that last time, so I kind of want to give an update. Because I wonder if anybody's listening or even watching the Idol. Imagine listening to a TV show. I mean, like watching. Um, let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, this works. This works for me. All right. I try to have some type of update for the show because even though this is music, um, it's literally music to promote the show. So I might as well talk about it a little bit. All right, let's get to it right now. So of course, after all the hate for the Idol and them just falsely putting out that it's not having a season two, I'm definitely not guaranteeing it, but for the fans to come out and hate on, not even hate, but just tell the truth on the quality of the Weeknd's acting performance was just hysterical in itself because everybody knows that if this man is on HBO, he's definitely getting a bag because they just don't have anybody on that platform, as you can see with a plethora of other shows that they host. And the numbers in the viewership is showing promise, I guess, as is higher than Euphoria's first season, which we don't know. Euphoria was a pretty big hit. You know, had stars like, well, really the only star for the first season was Zendaya. But it is important to note that these numbers that are publicly accessible is live plus same day viewership, and it doesn't include viewership from streaming or on demand platforms. So it's possible that the Idol's viewership will increase over time as more people watch it on HBO Max. As for me, I don't know about for the other people out there, but for me, I only watch TV shows after all the episodes are done. Like for Dave, I waited till all the episodes was out, and I don't know why. I just like binge watching my shows, and I don't like getting invested to a point where, oh, I gotta wait till next week because I have to really, really be anticipating a show for that to happen. So yeah, and it's worth to note that The Idol is a new show, and it may take some time to build up an audience. For example, Euphoria had relatively low viewership but became a huge hit in its second season. So the Idol could always follow that type of trajectory as the numbers are solid enough to keep going with the current vision. But the reason I even cover this is because The Weeknd has attached another pack EP. I don't know, another 2-pack to the soundtrack, and it's coming together as my favorite album of the year. I may just have to say this. I was going through my recollection of hip hop tracks and just R&B tracks. I think in general, across the board, for me, The Weeknd has made the best music that I've listened to growing up. I had to look at my albums, the tracks. I go through, if you shameless plug on my Linktree, I have this tab where it's what I'm listening to. And you know, I've been, even before I even started content creation, I've been keeping track and list of music and just hip hop in my phone. And listening back, I have a lot of The Weeknd's music as far as my top 10 for that respective year. And it got to the point where I'm like, is The Weeknd my favorite artist? Like I always say that Drake's my favorite artist, but I got to the point where it was just so much Weeknd in the top 3 or number 1 of my top 10 of each and every year. I'm like, The Weeknd is consistently giving me what I think is the best music as far as quality. Because I always say it's way harder to sing a song than it is to rap. Anybody can rap, not everybody can sing. So for me, I don't know why, but I always hold R&B to a higher regard, which is always why I had Drake as my overall favorite artist because he could rap and sing at a high level. For The Weeknd, obviously his singing blows Drake's out of the water, but when it comes to rapping, I mean, come on now, like Drake definitely blows him out of the water. Pause if that's necessary. But in general, I do think that lyricism and just the quality of music that The Weeknd has given me has been more than any other artist that I've ever listened to in life. And with this new addition to the soundtrack, I think that this may is like coming together to be my favorite album of the year. Usually, I don't consider soundtracks as my favorite because I think it's cheating. Because if you're a producer, all you got to do is deliver quality beats and just pull all of your connections together to create a entire body of work like Metro does, like DJ Khaled does. Like it's just a cheat code to have Jay-Z giving you his best verse and then having Drake giving you his best verse and then having like whoever the popular artist is giving you their best verse. Like when it's just you alone to make quality music, I I hold that to a higher regard than being a producer giving a quality level beat and just letting the artist create the vision. I believe that being a singular artist making an album is way harder than being a producer pulling from some of the biggest names in the industry. So, with that being the case, and for The Weeknd being on this album most of the time, like, of course, there's tracks where it's some other person, it's like Johnny Depp's daughter or something like that. With that being the case for her being on some of the single tracks and those also being fire, but the Weeknd's like on 80 to 90% of the entire body of work. I think that this is when it all comes together will end up being the best album of the year. Cause I wasn't really thinking that the album was gonna come together like this. Like think about it. We've had Double Fantasy, which I think to this day is still one of the best tracks of the year. Popular, which I think is like the second best track of the year. Then you have this track with Little Baby, and not even to mention the solo tracks from The Weeknd. Like he's given us an album without telling us that it's an actual album. Like I was thinking that it was just like some loosies that he was throwing out, but it's coming together to the point where he's probably after the show is over gonna come out with the Idol soundtrack, and everybody's gonna be like, "This is like it was in our face the whole time, but this is the best album of the year." He's just putting it out in an episodic way, just like the show, to obviously promote the show. But enough praise. I got to know what y'all think because I would, I don't think I'm over exaggerating the amount of quality music that The Weeknd is giving or has given us. But as far as the Idol soundtrack, I would like to hear y'all thoughts. So definitely click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do y'all think about the Idol? And what is your favorite track off of what The Weeknd has given us for the show? And do you think it could ultimately end up being the best album of 2023? All right. Um, I got choked up there at the end. Trying to keep the liquids on deck, but I don't know if it's helping that much. You know, it's I don't know. Uh, all right. All right, and I'm back. Hopefully that got it out of my system. We're gonna see. If not, then yeah, I apologize. But we're gonna let me see. I had to mute myself because I'm pretty sure I am. Yeah, it was a lot going on. Let's just leave it at that. There's a lot going on. Let's try to power through this. Let's see. Let me get this right here. I love how Mike Dean and The Weeknd is just like Kobe and Shaq in his prime. Like, I don't know, that combination is just fantastic. I could probably get into some of that. Let me see. Okay, we're gonna pull this up. Trying to find where this is at. I love how all the biggest Uzi fans are like hitting me collectively to tell me that this album ain't it. Like, bro, how do y'all know already? Like, has it even been an hour 30? It has, huh? Let me see. Yeah, it definitely has. But still, it's like, dang, that's a lot of music to consume that fast. Must be trash. No, I was playing. All right, let me see. Okay. Okay, let me see. Biggest. Trying to find this one thing right quick. This will add to my point. Okay. Because sometimes it doesn't give me exactly what I want, so I gotta be like specific. But was this produced by Mike Dean? That is what we're trying to find out. Right. I wonder if he's made all the Weeknd songs. It don't seem like it though. Cause I'm looking it up and it seems like he comes and goes. Huh. Wow, he has made a lot of these hits from. All right. Anyways, let's get back into it. Let me see. What's that? Yeah, that's definitely not right. Okay, cool. Just had to make sure. I always got to double check. Yeah, so that's not right. All right, let's get into it. The Weeknd and Mike Dean at this point may be the second coming of Kobe and Shaq in the prime. Because every single time these two artists collaborate, the producer artist collab, I can't think of any better type of collab than these two respective just artists. Because like I was saying earlier, if you haven't checked it out, shameless plug, the Weeknd Idol episode 5 review. In general, it's not a TV show review, but I did talk about some of the numbers for the TV show while also getting into the overall aspect of just the Weeknd and his ability to make quality music has been on a level that hasn't been matched or surpassed by any artist in the past, or just my whole music listening lifespan. Let's just say that. As there's certain artists that I think put out bodies of work that's better than the Weeknd, but as far as a collective and putting out music consistently over time at the quality that the Weeknd has held, I don't think there's any other artist that has held that level of quality. Because I always say it's harder to sing than it is to rap because everybody and their mama can rap. Not everybody can sing. It's just a God given talent that, of course, you can work on. But if you got it, you got it. And if you don't, then hopefully somebody who loves you can tell you that you don't have it. Because some people in the world is just convinced that they have the vocals of a Beyonce, of a Ariana Grande. But at the end of the day, it honestly sounds like Ice JJ Fish. Now, where am I going with that? I just want to point out how Like a God by The Weeknd is another addition to the Idol music soundtrack for the TV show, the HBO original series. And of course, it's produced by Mike Dean, and it was just released. And I think with this track, people are going to start to realize that this soundtrack is literally another Weeknd album, as he's present on all of these tracks and it's coming together like it's actually another body of work from the Weeknd, rather than him just saying it's a soundtrack and having other artists be on it. So it'll be different. What I was under the impression that he was gonna spearhead the soundtrack with 2 or 3 songs, and then he was gonna have some lesser known artists like carry the rest of the soundtrack. But because he's on every single addition to the soundtrack, I'm thinking that he's using a unique method to give us a new album. And I think after he actually comes out with the Idol album by The Weeknd, it will go down as the best album of 2023. But I'd be interested to hear what y'all think, because this is an interesting rollout. I wonder if people still consider this a body of work after it's all said and done, because of the uniqueness of the rollout. Because of course it's to promote the new show, the new HBO series called The Idol. And also, is people watching that show? Because it seems like people are, but then people are bashing it at the same time. So I'm confused. Like, are people watching it or not? But anyways, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about how this soundtrack is coming together? And at the end of the day, will you be saying to yourself, this is album of the year? Or was the rollout so spread out that you disqualify it from actually being an entire album? I don't know if that last question made sense, but whatever. That's hey, that's what we have. All right, and then let's get into the little baby. Let me see. All right, let's get into this one. Shout out to the people still joining over at Wisdom. I definitely appreciate y'all taking the time out of your morning to listen to me cover the latest tracks that just released. Hopefully, y'all take something away from this. That's always my main goal. And if you did, make sure to hit that follow button as I go live whenever I cover a plethora of tracks. And then I'm ultimately a podcaster that live streams. So I put this up after the fact on Analytic Dreams, Notorious, Mass Effect, on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. Click my link tree in my bio, gives you easy access to whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, and sends you directly to my podcast so you can listen to it for yourself. For Wisdom, I use a different mic, so when you come over to my podcast platform, you'll definitely hear a different audio quality. Let's just say that. So yeah, hopefully that was straightforward for y'all. Let me see where this is at. All right, here we go. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let's put this right here. All right, cool. Be careful with who you call a god. I can't go without my pole and my rod. Sip the cup and then I nod. Made 100 million. Must be good at my job. I done made it out the land of the brave. I can tell you shake my hands that it's fake. Free the guys, the ones who never made a statement. Sliding with the Drake, I made it home safe. Baseball numbers on all of my contracts. Billionaire buddies, they all in my contacts. I get you hit on GP, they want nothing back. Made 20 million last month, trying to run it back. It goes down, I'm the one they gon' blame. Gotta leave where my soul How I Came. Mm-mm-mm. Now, I think Little Baby and The Weeknd have a certain type of chemistry that it would just be, to quote the great Stephen A. Smith, blasphemous and just straight up atrocity that will occur if they don't give us an entire album. The way that The Weeknd and Lil Baby makes music is almost like their respective styles of making music coincides with each other perfectly. The Weeknd can do the hurt, the hurt. The Weeknd can do the hook. Lil Baby can do the verses, and sparingly, The Weeknd can come in and give a couple verses. Because I think that a bunch of The Weeknd choruses and melodies, along with the Little Baby giving us his best bars when accompanied with those Weeknd vocals, could come together to create one of the best collab albums. Y'all thought that Drake and 21 Savage, Her Loss, was fire. Just imagine if we had a Weeknd album accompanied by Little Baby, produced by Mike Dean. Because I don't know what it is about Little Baby and The Weeknd, but it just seems like he tries to go to another level whenever he sees or hears Mike Dean production attached with a Weeknd feature. Because my favorite song of 2020 by far, literally like one of my favorite songs ever, was Hurricane, produced by none other than the best producer in hip hop, Kanye West. And when The Weeknd came on, like it was literally an angel sent from heaven singing to us in our ears. Little Baby came on, giving his best Jesus bars possible, collectively combining for a track that was just an instant classic as soon as you press play. I mean, go back and listen to Hurricane and listen to any type of track you've heard in hip hop from the last 3 to 5 years. I don't know if you can match that level of quality, from the production to the chorus to the verse. I just think in general, there's not enough respect put on the level of patience it probably took to get those three in the studio, and all to, like, not even like in the studio together, but just in the studio to give us that quality level performance on the track. And especially Kanye West with the way he's all over the place. I mean, you've heard all type of tracks from the Donda 2 that was straight fire that never released, simply because of how chaotic Kanye West's creative process is. But because of these type of tracks coming out of that chaotic process, everybody loves and respects Kanye's musical mind. So for The Weeknd and Little Baby to do that once again on this track, obviously not to the point of Hurricane, I think that's on a whole nother level itself. But as far as them coming back together to create this track titled False Idols, and for it to be so fire in itself, I just thought to myself, we have to have a little Weeknd. I keep saying Little Weeknd. Maybe that needs to be the title of the collab album. But we do have to have a Little Baby and Weeknd collab album before they hang it up. So click my Linktree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about The Weeknd and Little Baby making a whole collab album together? Do you think that's too much? And if you do, which track do you think is better from The Weeknd's Idols soundtrack, and why? All right. Now we now we're finally getting into the little man. And by the little man, I mean Little Uzi Vert, as he is the last person we're getting into. Let me see. All right. Let me see. What was that? Nope, that was wrong. Okay. Okay, cool. Shout out to the 21 people we have in here right now. Just know in general, I cover the latest hip hop and gaming. Um, on my podcast, Analytic Dreams, Notorious, Mass Effect, on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. And also, you can click my link tree in my bio. Gives you direct access to whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. And yeah, that's basically it. That's my whole pitch. Be like, that's all she wrote, folks. But anyways, let's get into this. And let me pull up the track list. Might as well. Might as well. This man's taking his time giving us this album. I might as well give into all it entails, I guess. I'm not the biggest Uzi fan, but I will be listening and dissecting this album. And by dissecting, I mean mumble rappers. I give like one listen, and then I usually have my opinion because it's not too much replay value. Unless you're like a person who can actually rap, like with melody, which I think Lil Uzi is. So it just depends on the quality he gives us. But I don't know. From like little Uzi stands, they're coming out saying like, I mean, obviously I don't let that sway my opinion. I'm gonna listen to it myself because a lot of people told me the Ray Shrimmer album wasn't good, and hey, I still have that as one of my favorite albums of the year. But anyways, all right. Let me see if I can find this right quick. Yeah, that's not it. All right. Let me see if I pull this back up. Actually, gotta make sure this is not signed in. Is it signed in? I don't even know if it's signed in. How do I tell? All right, I can't tell if it's signed in. All right, we're just gonna go back to it. I think we should be all right. All right. Anyways, for people over there kicking YouTube, I should be able to see it now. Um, let's see. Okay, cool. After a long hiatus of not putting out any music, and by not putting out music, I mean just straight up throwing a fit to the point we have a new star amongst us in the ranks, aka Jack Harlow. And if you don't know how the Little Uzi Vert and DJ Drama beef started, just know it somehow miraculously got resolved as soon as Jack Harlow blew up on the scene. Because I think Little Uzi Vert realized that DJ Drama kind of knows what he's talking about when it comes to putting out music in a respective way to your audience. As the amount of years that Little Uzi Vert has taken to create this album, I don't think it's because he had an album waiting. I think it's honestly because he wanted to officially go under Rock Nation to the point where he was threatening DJ Drama. He was telling his fan base that DJ Drama wouldn't let him release music, which turned Uzi's fan base on or against Drama to the point where Drama had to come out on multiple interviews and say that Little Uzi Vert can drop whenever he wants. He just chooses not to. So that created a rift between DJ Drama, Little Uzi Vert, Insert Jack Harlow. DJ Drama finds this man from Kentucky. He comes out with the track What's Poppin', and the rest is history. Now, Lil Uzi Vert miraculously is ready to drop music, and his label is not holding him back any longer. Interesting how that stuff works out, right? But anyways, Lil Uzi Vert just dropped his new album titled Pink Tape, and it has 26 songs. Now, before y'all say anything, 26 songs is a lot of music. But to be on his hiatus, which his last album was released in what, 2017, I believe? Oh no, was it 2020? I think it was 2020 with Eternal Take. And whatever attempt of an album that was. But then he came out with another album this year titled The Pink Tape. And we're going to see what the reception is for this, as it just came out. So I'm not going to get into my reviews. I'm just going to get into the objective facts about it. And it being 26 tracks is one of them. Also, the runtime is definitely one of the things I wanted to point out, as I believe it's around like an hour and 30. I would have to actually look at the runtime. Let me see. Yeah, it's an hour and 27. And for those who don't believe that he's still under DJ Drama, if you go to the credits, it says Generation Now / Atlantic Records. So just know that DJ Drama will definitely be promoting this album, because guess who gets paid when you're the manager? Like, guess who gets paid off a project when you're the one who's overseeing everything? So it's kind of like the whole player and owner talk. Like, when the player acts up, the owner is just gonna wait it out because he has other players. But when the player realizes that the owner has another player on his level, then he's like, oh, hey, you know, I kind of want to play now and get my contract back in the good graces, you know. So anyways, to protect the production all over this album is from Wheezy, a lot of other producers on this album. It's his first album in like 3 to 4 years. I think it's 3 years. And the album was delayed for several times. I already told you why. But and I think that this album, with the amount of tracks, with the run, did I even look at the runtime? I literally think I looked up just to tell y'all the runtime, and I told y'all something. Oh, okay. It's an hour and 27 minutes. And the marketing strategy used to roll out this album was pretty fire. When he put out an album trailer, I think that was the most, I'm not gonna say creative, but just showed the effort that he was willing to put forth to sell the album to his fans, to showcase that he's really taking this serious. As artists nowadays, I don't know what it is about a rollout. I don't know if they're just allergic to an actual successful rollout that makes sense. But artists would just tell you, hey, I'm putting out my music, and then the next day it'll be up on DSPs. Like, the whole art of an actual rollout has been lost with these up and coming artists. And I think it's laziness to the point where they think they signed to a major label, and that major label is just supposed to do all the marketing for them, when they're trying to recoup from the advance that they gave artist A. Say artist A has a song in his local community, but now they got an advance from a label that the label's trying to recoup on. They don't want to spend even more money promoting you, because guess what? They got to make that money back somehow. But rappers really don't want to hear that talk. At the end of the day, they want to put out music and realize and just gain all the profits from it. Like, the moment that Lil Uzi Vert realized how much he made from EXO Tour Life, and then how much DJ Drama made from EXO Tour Life, aka Generation Now, I think that's where the whole rift started, when the album Eternal Take was released. Because from 2020 on, even before 2020, but you kind of realize that Uzi started to act different towards his label, to the point where he weaponized his fan base, which is nothing wrong with that if you're being done wrong by the label. But if you're using it in a way to get you out of a deal that's favoring to you, and it gets to the light that it gets revealed that it's favoring to you. Now his fan base is starting to say, well, maybe he just fell off because he's making up all of these excuses because you see another artist who's in your same lane under the same management have a huge career, movies like White Man Can't Jump, album featuring Drake and featuring Justin Timberlake, and here you are over here complaining, not putting out music for a lengthy period of time, putting pink diamond in your forehead for attention, and now you're on the brink of potentially being washed up because a lot of people are comparing you to your old work and saying that, are we ever going to get that old Uzi? Because every time I hear about Little Uzi Vert, they're always talking about, oh, this is better than that, and it's always the old compared to the new. I don't know if Uzi's had a track that's been as relevant or impact his community. And by community, I mean his fan base. You know, I'm not trying to get political, but that's impacted his fan base since he's had what, Money Longer. Like, I don't really think, obviously that's like one of his best tracks ever, but you know, he's had an EXO tour life. He's had a even with this one, the I Just Wanna Rock track is really popular, probably one of his more popular tracks, and he has a diamond single. But when it comes to an album, a lot of people are losing faith in his ability to make a cohesive classic project. And I think with the Pink Tape, that will showcase if he still has that ability or not. And with his fan base, I'll be interested to see where they go. Will they turn to another artist for that classic, or will Little Uzi Vert finally deliver with the Pink Tape? So click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Little Uzi Vert status in the game? And for the Uzi fans out there, do you think that this Pink Tape is a make or break situation for Little Uzi Vert? All right. Let's get into which tracks do I want to cover. Let's do the Nicki Minaj one because she's promoting that way more than the entire album. And then let's get into, is it Zoom? Is Zoom a single? Why does it have such bigger numbers than the other tracks? Let's see, Flood Your Face. We should probably do the Travis Scott one. I'm not covering this whole album. It's 26 tracks. So I think we're just going to stick on those tracks. Let's see, 130. Yeah, that works for me. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get into the track with Nicki, cause I don't know what it is about Nicki and having collab tracks, but she just really does not promote anything else but that track. I mean, you would literally forget the album's out. But I don't know. I guess she's promoting it, and I guess some way she's promoting it. Okay. Um. Let's see. Track 11. Okay, let's get into Lil Uzi Vert and Nicki Minaj. The way that Nicki Minaj is promoting this track, you would think that this was the first single and the album wasn't even out, because the promotion that Little Uzi Vert's track number 11 is getting off of the Pink Tape is solely because of the Barb's and Onika Tanya Mirage. Now, there's nothing wrong with promoting a song that you're featured on, of course. And the amount of promotion that you're bringing towards that track will ultimately probably help out the overall sales for the album's first week sales. It's just very interesting the way that Nicki promotes her tracks that she's on. Like, I would hope that every artist who pays for a feature gets that type of promotion and just highlighted effect of them taking pride of a feature that they put on your album. Nowadays, every artist in the world will tell you when an artist they paid to do a feature who doesn't even put up a post of the album when it comes out, how they feel about that and what they really want to say to that particular artist. Because in the top echelon of the game, obviously these features cost probably, I mean, as far as relationships, Lil Uzi Vert probably didn't have to pay for Nicki, but usually sometimes I've heard this that they go behind the scenes and not like behind the back or anything, but the business is handled by their agent and they get the money from so and so's label. So let's just say Lil Uzi Vert and Nicki Minaj could be cool, right? Nicki Minaj could tell her agent to contact Generation Now, which is the label that Lil Uzi Vert is under, and Generation Now pays Nicki for that feature on the Pink Tape, but she never has to bring up a price tag to Uzi. See how that makes sense? That's why you have an agent and they handle that type of stuff. So you don't have to have those conversations in person. Because I guess for some reason that just throws out the whole relationship. I mean, imagine you thinking you're friends with somebody, you do a whole verse, 5, 6 verses, it's all of them are fire, but you pick one or two to put on the album, and then before you do, he's like, hey, hold up, you got my 500,000. Like, it's kind of hard to bring that up in the midst of a personal conversation that you think is genuine. And that just always throws me back to the famous line by the GOAT of hip hop when he said, no friends in the industry. My brothers been my brothers and y'all people ain't no kin to me. Kind of just referring to the fact that the people who was with you when you first started probably needs to be the people you lean on rather than the ones that are solely with you to run up numbers on the charts. There's nothing wrong with combining with another artist to run up numbers on the charts, but you definitely have to recognize it for what it is. As this track, number 11 on a Pink Tape titled Endless Fashion, will not be getting the amount of promotion that it is currently getting without Onika Tanya Mirage, aka Nicki, aka the best woman rapper to ever live, and also, not even to be disrespectful, one of the best rappers to ever live, and personally in my top 5. So anyways, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about this Lil Uzi Vert and Nicki Minaj track? Personally, I listened to it. I think the beginning is fire. The ending kind of tails off. But yeah, click one of my social medias. Let me know in DMs what is your favorite track off of the album, and for this specific track, do you think it's fire or trash? All right. Um. Alrighty, let's do Zoom. Love how this is just like what? Um, I swear I paused that last time. Maybe it was a different one. It's probably a different one. I'm probably going crazy. Okay, cool. A lot of people are glad that a leak finally ended up on a Little Uzi Vert album because, of course, it was originally previewed in the Instagram post in 2017. Just think about the amount of music you have to have a leak end up on an album that was from 2017. I'm not saying Uzi doesn't have a bunch of music, because a lot of his avid fans tell me a lot of his music leaks, a lot of his music is just unreleased in general, because that's just how he is. But for this leak to end up on the album, being from 2017, and he dropped Eternal a Take in 2020, it makes me wonder what made this album more fitting for the Pink Tape rather than Eternal Take. And even the way that he's putting these albums out and the names, it just feels like he's all over the place, as there's no cohesive vision for the way that he's putting out these projects. But this is not a bash Lil Uzi Vert segment. It's really more of a trying to point out different uniqueness of every single track, because it's not a review, it's just overall objective facts of the track. Because in 2019 it was played again by a FaZe Clan member, and better known as FaZe Rain. You know, FaZe Clan is notorious for one thing in my mind, and that's saying the word that's repeated plethora of times in Django, which is the N-word. So anyways, with the FaZe Clan, you know, that clan made me something else. Not just playing, let me chill. So anyways, yeah, they previewed that track in 2019. And then also Uzi talked about wanting to drop the track, but it ultimately leaked in 2019. And I just think, honestly, this is just a lazy attempt to put out a leak. Like, if you're gonna put out bonus tracks and just the leaks that your fans want, I don't see what that does for your career. As if you don't want to go back through it and put on a new verse, I feel like it's lazy, and it appears as you just wanted to put it out simply because your fans wanted you to, and you gave no effort in the way that it was mixed and mastered. You was basically like, just release it as is. If these fans want it so bad, they'll still like it, and that's just not the case with all type of music. Because I think when you look at this, it's produced by Weezy, and I think Weezy is one of those type of artists where producers where obviously he could give you a fire beat, but he can't do everything for you. Like, you gotta do something. Like, you literally just ended up copy and pasting a leak and putting it on your album. If that's not the most lazy attempt to a track I've ever seen, then I don't know what is. Because I think, honestly, if I was to look at it, that's what I'm trying to find right now. If I was to look at the track, it's track number 24, but also trying to see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, produced by Weezy and Charlie Handsome, and then it was recently, I think I already got into that. Yeah, so I already got into the recent leaked and everything in 2016, 2017. Officially dropping, well, officially in 2019, 2023, we see the actual track is just a bonus off of the Pink Tape. I think it's just a lazy attempt at a track, and I think, honestly, I'm not gonna say like Uzi fans deserve better, because, you know, they put up with this type of behavior from Uzi, but at the end of the day, we thought this was going to be the bounce back album. Obviously, I'm not giving a review of it, but I'm just gonna say it's not looking good for Uzi stands out there. So anyways, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about the track Zoom from Lil Uzi Vert? Despite it being already leaked in like 2017. And do you think it's fire or trash? Shout out to the 24 people we have over at Wisdom right now. I appreciate y'all taking the time out of your morning to listen to me cover the latest hip hop. And just know in general, if you want to find me, all my socials is in my link tree in my bio. If you click that, it gives you direct access to whatever platform you frequently use, whether it's TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, whatever podcast platform gives you direct links to all that. So, anyways. let's get into let's get into this one. Even these track titles, like, come on, man. Like, we can give a little bit more effort to these track titles. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm asking too much of Lil Uzi. That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. Anyways, okay, let me pull this up right quick. It's fashion. Why does it look like that? Okay, cool. Let's keep going with this track. This has to be one of the most creative and just eccentric and just over the top with which is filled with uniqueness, as this track title is out of this world. Like, I honestly think that he couldn't have came up with a more creatively driven title than this one that he came up with, that he also has Travis Scott on. Now, y'all know how I feel about Travis Scott and the whole Astroworld situation, so let's not even touch that right now. Let's just focus solely on Uzi, as I want to just get into the creative aspect of what was going through his mind when he titled this track. Like, I think in artist land, right? You sit in the room, you sit in a creative process, brainstorm, come up with a lot of different titles, and then you stick with one that is superior compared to all the other titles. And especially when you're putting a highly coveted and a highly anticipated artist, Travis Scott, on there. Because I'm not giving a review of the track, but I can objectively look at the title and tell you that this is one of the most absurd, egregious, and just utmost atrocious title I've ever seen in my life. There's a certain level that I think I hold hip hop artists to, and maybe it's my fault. Maybe I should just lower that. Maybe I should just put it to a point where just forget the whole integrity of the craft, right? Like, let's just stop caring about quality. Let's just do that. Like, why care about hip hop titles? I mean, honestly, who cares what the hip hop track? Like, who cares about hip hop? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like the whole genre, let's just throw it away. I mean, if we're just gonna start titling tracks A, why even care about hip hop? Honestly, let's just start titling it just track 1, track 2, track 3. Let's just start doing that, because I think from an artistry standpoint, if you're gonna have Travis Scott on the track, you may want to title it something a little bit more unique and creative, or just act like you care, than titling a hip hop track A. I know what y'all gonna say. It's not that deep, the track could still be fire and it could end up blowing up on the charts, right? I'm just saying that I think we should have some more respect for our genre, because I would be hard pressed to find in any genre where they just title a track one word that's not even descriptive in any sort of like any form or fashion. It is not a, y'all get what I'm saying. The track title is atrocious. That's all I gotta say before I say something that's not PG. So I feel like also having Travis Scott on this track, it would be easily skippable for me, because I already have my personal beef with Travis and the whole Astroworld situation. And then track title alone will probably end up making this a skip for me. So anyways, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know one of my social medias, especially my Uzi fans out there. Was I tripping about the title of the track, and listening to it, do you think it's fire or trash? All right, shout out to the 26 people over at Wisdom right now. I definitely appreciate y'all coming through, listening to me cover the latest hip hop and gaming. And if you're new, definitely hit that follow button to be notified when I go live. Especially for my people over at YouTube and Kick, just know that downloading the Wisdom app is the best way to hear me go live, because I go live on that app for the most part whenever it's just audio centric. And yeah, I'm saying all that because I'm about to wrap up. This is the last track we're getting into with Lil Uzi Vert and Don Toliver. But yeah, man, I appreciate the 26 people coming out. I really do think that, like, you know, you could be anywhere and you're listening to a person break down the latest hip hop and gaming. And overall, as I'm definitely a podcaster who streams. It's not the other way around, you know. And with the podcast in general, it's doing pretty good. I didn't even, did I look at it? Oh yeah, it's around like 78,000 weekly downloads, and then under like the 6 months we've been under Red Circle, which is a hosting platform. We've surpassed 850,000 at this point total downloads. So we're approaching a million. I don't know what's gonna happen when I hit 1 million downloads. I may just completely lose it. So we're gonna see what happens. But yeah. So anyways, let's get back into the review, which is the final review of Lil Uzi Vert and Don Toliver. But yeah, definitely if you're on Kick or YouTube, definitely make sure to download that Wisdom app to have easier access to join the show. And who knows, you may end up on actual podcast, because sometimes I've used people who came in on Wisdom as a guest, because it has like a whole guest button. Makes it very easy to join. But if not, we're going to get into, let me see if I can, I think I deleted that. Let me pull this back up. Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay. All right, we're back. All right. I think when it comes to Don Toliver and Lil Uzi Vert, not even listening to the track yet, and I already know it's fire. Because I don't know what it is about two melodic centric artists coming together, but I think it raises the percentage of it being a hit. I don't know if it's because I've heard some of The Weeknd and Travis Scott. I don't know if it's because I've heard Quavo and Travis Scott, or who's the other ones? Don Toliver or Juice WRLD and Travis on Astroworld. A lot of Travis Scott in it, even though a lot of stuff with him I don't care for. But at this point, I think that Don Toliver and Lil Uzi Vert, they do come together to make some of the most classic tracks. I mean, just recently, like literally a week or two ago, we received a Metro Boomin album, which was the soundtrack for the Spider-Man movie, literally Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is a classic, by the way, you know, shameless plug. Lil Uzi Vert and Don Toliver teamed up to deliver us a track on that soundtrack titled Home, and that was a straight classic. Really, that entire soundtrack is probably one of the best overall soundtracks I've heard in a long time. Even better than the Black Panther soundtrack, even better than, like, as far as like hip hop centric, of course, because you know the movie enthusiasts out there are gonna come out and they're gonna be like, hey, back in my day we ain't really listen to that hip hop and 808s. So I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the hip hop centric soundtracks. I think this is one of the best ever. That goes for Creed, Black Panther. I'm trying to think of some other prominent ones, but can't really think of it right now. But anyways. And then also, Lil Uzi Vert and Don Toliver came together on Pusha T's album Is Almost Dry for the track Scrape It Off, which was just, that was like classic. That entire album, I think, is just one of my favorite. I think it was one of my favorite albums of that year. even though respectively, I'm a Drake fan, so I can't say that too loud, or I'm gonna lose my Drake card. But yeah, what was that? Yeah, that was 2022. I think that was one of my favorite albums of that year, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back to it and look, but I'm definitely not looking right now. Because if it is, my Drake fans will not be happy. So, anyways, um, Little Uzi Vert and Don Toliver are definitely a great pairing, and I think when looking at both of these musicians and their collaborations, you can tell why Little Uzi Vert will want him on the Pink Tape, as it is track number 20, which is odd. I don't know why it's so far down on the album track listing, because track listing is a big deal for how you want your consumer to experience the album, because just for the most part, people start from track one and go all the way down, right? I know there's people out there who may not be able to afford certain subscriptions for Spotify or Apple, so they may have to press the shuffle button. But I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, that's just a reality. But some people who listen from start to finish, the whole experience is dedicated off of track listing. So you're experiencing the album the way that the artist wants you to experience it, from top to bottom. From start to finish. So for this to be all the way at track number 20 is very interesting, but still tells me that it could be a fire track. I don't know, maybe he just felt like putting that all the way down there. And I don't think I've ever heard a bad Uzi and Don Toliver track. So as far as Don Toliver's last outing, his Lovesick album was straight fire. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't one of my favorite albums of the year, but definitely a solid project to listen to. Definitely has some solid tracks off of there with high replay value. But with Little Uzi Vert and Don Toliver, their chemistry is undeniable, and I can't wait to hear it once again on Patience, which is the track title on the Pink Tape. So click my Linktree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Little Uzi Vert and Don Toliver teaming up once again for this latest track titled Patience? And listening to that track, is it your favorite off of the album? Alrighty. All right, let me look at this. I think that's basically it. I think we got through everything. Let me make sure to pull up everything. Uzi, The Weeknd. Yep, that was basically it. I wanted to focus most of my time on Uzi, and I think I did that. Yes. Yeah, I've been going on for like almost 2.5 hours. Yeah, I definitely did that. Okay. Uh, what else? I think that's basically it. Alrighty. Okay. Well, everybody who's been tuning in, I definitely appreciate y'all. Let me see, the 27 people we have on Wisdom right now, I definitely appreciate y'all taking time out of your morning to listen to me break down the latest hip-hop. Just know I cover the latest hip-hop and gaming news. Just type in just click my link tree in my bio. It easily gives you links to whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, and whatever social media sites you want to follow me on, as a lot of content is put up on my TikTok, my YouTube, and definitely my podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, just whatever you use the most. The link tree will give you a direct link to it. So in general, Analytic Dreams, Notorious Mass Effect is the easier way if you want to just look me up yourself. But my link tree in my bio makes it super easy to access that. So anyways, I just want to finish with definitely listen to my latest Notorious Mass Effect episode 124, which is titled Capcom Bounces Back with Street Fighter 6, available on all podcast platforms via my link tree and bio, of course. And also got to end with shout outs to the supporters out there. Shout out to the people who support me from day one. My listenership went up from 38,000 to 79,000 weekly downloads for the podcast. And you're wondering like why such the big jump? I didn't take a break, but I took a break from live streaming. I still was recording and stuff, and coming back in a more stable environment to record in. That's the updated numbers. So yeah, we went from 38,000 downloads weekly to 79,000 weekly, and in general, we just keep going up. In just 6 months under Red Circle, which is a hosting platform, we surpassed like over 860. Let me look at the number. Cause I keep messing up the number. Give me 1 second. Oh, we just passed 880,000 total downloads in just 6 months under Anchor. So under Red Circle. I got my hosting platforms mixed up. But basically, I say all that to say that I appreciate y'all and the supporters who come in time and time again and just helping me affect the masses. Because this thing is to the point where it's like a real dream job, like, if that makes sense. Like, it's a real dream come true, if that makes sense. And so I'm just trying to keep it going. Don't want to jinx myself. And yeah, man, enjoying the journey. So I definitely appreciate y'all for joining me on this journey with this particular live stream. And I'm not going to go through my shameless plugs, but definitely click my link tree in my bio and follow to keep up with the latest hip hop and gaming news. And with that, I will see y'all next time.